Globalization. This video is an introduction to the concept of globalization and the idea of a global business. One key to understanding globalization is the concept of free trade. Economists who argue for free trade believe that if trade barriers are removed, all economies will benefit in the long run. In the modern world, there's been an increasing trend towards free trade between many countries, such as the member states of the European Union. This is a major factor behind another trend, globalization. The world is moving away from a system of national markets that are isolated from one another by trade barriers, distance, or culture. Due to things like technology and cheaper air travel, it's much easier for big companies to do business across continents. The internet enables managers on one side of the globe to know about and react to events and business trends on the other side of the globe in a timely way. In a nutshell, the spread of free trade, internet technology, and the global movement of business capital are among the factors that has led us to much closer to one big global marketplace. A growing number of businesses have learnt to work across national boundaries and cultural differences. But a global business is not just a large business that sells to many countries or has production operations in many countries. A global business is willing and able to quickly relocate activities to whichever part of the world offers it the greatest competitive advantages. To a true global business, such as Google or Facebook, the concept of a home country to which any particular loyalty is guaranteed in terms of jobs and investment is fairly unimportant. Some global firms seek to develop different products for different markets. Cultural differences across the world are still strong. People living in Asian and African countries may watch English Premier League football, for example, but in other respects they do not think the same way or live the same way as people in London or New York. That's why, for instance, Toyota and VW make different cars in different continents. Other global producers have tended to produce one standardized global product. For example, Coca-Cola and Apple products are the same all over the world. Countries that have opened themselves up to increased international trade and globalization have gained several benefits. Firstly, they've experienced faster economic growth than those that do not have open economies. In China, which until the late 1980s had little connection with the outside world, hundreds of millions of people have been lifted out of poverty through free market reforms. Secondly, increased free trade can lead to greater specialization among countries. Each economy builds on its strengths and becomes more competitive than when governments try to protect inefficient local industries through protectionism. Thirdly, small and medium-sized companies can, arguably, compete in global markets, not just big multinationals. This is partly because of the growth of e-commerce, which makes sales across the globe accessible on a much smaller budget than was needed before. A related factor is that niche producers can access customers in many different countries. Are there any arguments against globalization? It's sometimes argued that the benefits of global business have not been shared equally. Have the main people to benefit from globalization been shareholders? Globalization may have damaged different cultures and the economies of some poorer countries. Powerful multinational companies are alleged to have exploited some local communities, especially in poor countries, by putting profit above the environment and business ethics. Not everyone is a big fan of free trade and globalization. But is it likely or possible that globalization can be reversed?